Hello, today's problem is cystic fibrosis is caused by recessive allele. A child has cystic fibrosis even though neither of his parents has cystic fibrosis. Use this information for the questions below. And as usual, I recommend you to stop video here, try to solve both problems on your own first, and when you would be ready you can run video again and you can compare your answer with my answer and explanation. So what can you conclude about the parents? Answer A. They are both homozygous dominant for the cystic fibrosis gene, meaning their genotype would be capital A. When we cross with capital A, there is no way how we can get small a. So this is recessive genetic disorder. So we need two recessive alleles for this genetic disorder to be expressed. So as you see, if both parents doesn't have such allele, this genetic disorder cannot be passed for their progeny. Of course, there is a chance that there can be a new mutation and cystic fibrosis can be expressed in children due to new mutation, but this is highly unlikely because new mutation can happen to one of the normal genes, but the chances that such a mutation would happen to two genes simultaneously is extremely small. So we can say that this is incorrect answer, so we can cross out this answer. Answer B. They are both homozygous recessive for the cystic fibrosis gene, and this contradicts with our problem because in our problem we told that a child has cystic fibrosis even though neither of his parents has cystic fibrosis. So parents cannot be homozygous recessive for this gene, so parents cannot be genotype small a. Of course, if parents would be this genotype, 100% of their progeny also would have cystic fibrosis, but parents also would express this genetic disorder. But we told that parents phenotypically normal. So we can cross out this answer also. Answer C. One is homozygous dominant for the cystic fibrosis gene, the other is heterozygous. So, meaning one can be genotype capital A, homozygous dominant, and when we cross with another genotype that is heterozygous, that is capital A, small a, the progeny may have from this parent only dominant allele A, there is no any other variants, and from this parent the progeny may have either dominant allele A or recessive allele A. Even if progeny would get recessive allele A, because this is recessive genetic disorder, progeny wouldn't be affected with this disease, would be carriers, but wouldn't express it phenotypically. So we can also cross out this answer. And answer D. One is homozygous recessive for the cystic fibrosis gene, the other is heterozygous. Once again, if one parent would be homozygous recessive or would have genotype small a, he also would express this genetic disorder or would be affected. And this contradicts with our problem and statement that neither of the parents has cystic fibrosis. So we can cross out this answer. And the only correct answer left is E. They are both heterozygous for the cystic fibrosis gene. And I don't have space left, but I would use this space. So for example, if parent 1 would be heterozygous, he's going to be normal phenotypically because one of the genes would be normal and would produce normal protein, and if parent 2 also would be heterozygous, he also wouldn't be affected with this genetic disorder, but the progeny has a chance to have this genetic disorder. As you see, according to the Punnett square, 1/4 of the progeny might have this genetic disorder, those neither of the parents would be affected with this genetic disorder. Phenotypically, both parents would be normal. And we would use this Punnett square in order to answer our second question. This couple has another child who does not have cystic fibrosis. What is the probability he or she is heterozygous? And now we can say that the child who doesn't have cystic fibrosis belong to this group, and phenotypically normal. When we look at such a child, we can say this child is normal, but we don't know whether both alleles are normal or whether such a child heterozygous, so one allele is normal, another one is defective. And as you see, the chances that such a child is heterozygous or carrier would be 2 out of 3. We ignore this variant here because if a child would be affected, we would see it phenotypically. But because child phenotypically normal, we can say that he belongs to this group, and within this group, chances are 2 out of 3. And the correct answer would be answer E. So 2 out of 3 would be a correct answer. And this is all for today. Thank you for your attention. Please subscribe for my new videos that I post almost every day. Thumbs up if you like this video. Please write your comments, questions if you have any. And see you in the next video. Goodbye.